January 20th Hill District Dam meeting. This meeting is normally held on Monday, but because yesterday was a holiday, we always have our meetings the next Tuesday following that holiday. So thank you very much for joining us this evening. I hope you're staying nice and warm. Um, as you know, we have a development activities meeting every third Monday of the month. And the meeting provides an opportunity for the registered community organizations serving the Greater Hill District an opportunity to actually speak with the developer regarding their projects. And so, as you can see by the screen, the RCOs actually go through a formal process to become a registered community organizations. They play a formal role in helping channel community input about development, and they also they work to develop neighborhood plans as well. Becoming an RCO requires a meeting, a certain criteria related to RCO standards, transparency, and communications. And there is an application for the process and a renewal process that each RCO has to go through. The development activities meeting, as I stated before, provides the applicant an opportunity to present their proposal um, and talk with the community um, and answer questions and get comments about the development activity, which is which is a part of the development process. In order to meet certain thresholds, developers have to actually go through this process before they can go to a public board of commissioners hearing. And so with that, the developer has an opportunity to meet with everyone. Then they go through the 30-day public comment period. Um, and also city planning provides um, a dam staff report that also goes to the various boards that the activity would be applicable to, and then to a public hearing with the Board of Commissioners. What requires a dam? Well, it's quite a lengthy process, and I'm not going to go into every point, but it basically uh, revolves around the expansion of the structure. If it's more than 4 units, the use of variances, zoning, if it's a plan development, if it's a part of a master plan development, if the application has to go to the Historic Review Commission or to the Art Commission. Now, the next steps for a developer is that additional comments can be shared with the RCOs. This project will present in front of the Zoning Board of Adjustment, and also RCOs and the public can voice their public comment during that period using the information that you see on your screen. Public Art and Civic Design Commission, for any projects that actually have to go through this phase of a process. Once again, additional comments can be shared with the RCO organizations, and the project will present for the Public and Art and Civic Design Commission. And once again, the public has an opportunity to provide comment during this period, as well as using the email address to provide testimony, to send a letter, or to go through the process of attending the virtual meeting and being able to voice their concerns there. With the Planning Commission, next steps, once again, additional comments. The project will be presented for plan adoption at a planning commission meeting to be determined. There will be a public comment period through email, physically being at the meeting, as well as attending it virtually. And so as we look at the development activities meeting, the registered community organization is administered through the Department of City Planning to incorporate community input into development activities in their neighborhoods. Applicants requesting to go before the zoning commission will have to go through this process, regardless whether it's through for planning, historic review, public art, and civic design. In order for these projects to meet these thresholds, they must coordinate with the RCO and the Department of City Planning to hold the development activities meeting to engage the community. The DAM also provides an opportunity for stakeholders to provide an opportunity to learn about the proposals that may affect them and how it will benefit the community. The neighborhood planner, which is myself, will actually, in this case, it's AJ taking notes on the public meeting and completes the report, including a brief summary of the project as it's presented. The permissions sought that prompted the need for the dam, the questions are asked by attendees, and the answers that are received are all a part of the minutes that are recorded. This report is also relevant to the Board of Commissioners prior to the hearing on the project. We send them a copy of this report, and it's also posted on our public website after the meeting is held. The DAM report is neutral. It makes no conclusions. If you have a strong feeling about the project, you should consider attending a commission meeting to make further testimony, should you choose to do so. How to participate? The presenters will please clearly describe the slide being presented in order to assist anyone that might be participating with audio only. If the host needs to change the status of the meeting, they may pause or reconnect if the connection is dropped. After each presentation, we invite the RCOs and the public to ask questions and offer their comments. One in the chat through the Q&A tools that are provided, same platform almost as Zoom. And if you would like to speak out loud, you can raise your hand. There's a hand icon in your controls that you can raise, and the moderator can unmute you and acknowledge that you can now ask your questions. For voice in calls, now this is probably pertaining to Zoom. So if you are calling in by phone using Teams, you should have the option of being able to take yourself off of mute to ask your question and to raise your hand. And as you all know, this meeting is being recorded to allow stakeholders who are not able to attend an opportunity to watch the proceedings for a later time. Our agenda this evening will be the presentation from Kinto Omori from Fuko Architects, talking about the construction of 3-story townhomes, addresses 2037 Forbes Avenue. And we will have a presentation by Isabella Gross, Principal Planner of the Division of Sustainability and Resilience from the Department of City Planning regarding the Greenways Planning Initiative in the Hill District. And as you know, because there are multiple RCOs in the Greater Hill District, the Department of City Planning will host this DAM meeting in coordination with the RCOs. Prior to the introduction and the project presentations, we'd like to offer each RCO an opportunity a chance to speak about their work, about their engagement. And one thing that I will say before we go into the presentations by the RCOs, going forward, we thought it would be easy for each RCO just to be able, toward the end of their presentation, to verbally say whether or not the RCO supports the development activity and why not. So starting in February, there will no longer be a need to update your slide. Um, you'll just be able to verbally state it during our meeting and it will be recorded. If you have any other comments that you'd like to add, in addition to what you say during our meeting, you're more than welcome to email those comments to me afterwards. Do we have a representative from Shenley Heights Collaborative on?
Benita, I'm sorry. This is Marimba. I have a question about what you
Mhm,
just shared.
mhm.
Um, do you want to handle that now or at a different time? Because I think you just gave the RCOs an update about the process.
Yes,
Uh,
and what we can do is toward the end of the meeting, if any of the RCOs, have a question about the new process, we can talk about it toward the end of the meeting, or if it's just you that has the question, we can have a conversation whenever it's convenient to you. Because
okay.
I can stay after the meeting and we can talk if you'd like.
Okay, that's fine, except I'm concerned about transparency also. I mean, the RCOs are intended, I mean, the process is intended to give the public an opportunity to hear
Hmm.
from the developers as well as the community,
Hmm.
but it sounds like the process was pretty significantly revised, but this is the first time the RCOs are hearing about that, I think.
No, it's just I know that it is a challenge sometimes with our hectic schedules to try to get the slides updated. And so if it's easier going forward to, unless the RCO has a significant change in any of the information that they normally present, I thought it would be easier just to have the RCOs go through their slide presentation. And at the end, instead of the slide being there as far as whether or not the plan is supported, um, the RCO has the option still to verbally say it. And it becomes a matter of public record as far as um, one, it's on the video recording, and number two, it's actually in the minutes. And if there is specific written language that the RCO would like regarding its position on whether it supports or doesn't support the development activity, then we will be happy to incorporate verbatim what you have written down and put it, in the minutes. We just want to make it
Okay.
easy for the RCOs.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we'll keep on to providing the details on our actual slide then, just because
Okay.
it's okay. Thank you. I apologize. I just wanted to be sure I was clear about that. Please
Oh, no, no,
continue. Thank you
no.
so much.
You're welcome. Miss Lavella, you want to call this evening? Okay. So we will go to the next RCO, the Hill District Consensus Group. Is there anyone on the call from the consensus group?
Yes, hi, Benita. This is Brett. I'm here
Hi,
with Brett.
Brett.
Hi, thank you for the update.
You're welcome.
Here. And yes, we can move the slides. All right. So I am with the Hill District Consensus Group. We are a 501c3 community-based membership organization. We're dedicated to advancing social and economic justice. We believe
Brett, you're
in having
breaking up a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm gonna
How
move
does,
to a different audio device. Does this work better?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Hill District Consensus Group, we believe rising together in the spirit of Sankofa to help advance homegrown stewardship, strategic leadership, economic opportunities, and pathways to generational prosperity. We support community development projects for and by the people, guided by our core principle, which is build first, don't displace. Next slide. So this is our staff, and of course, we do need to update. So again, I can appreciate the update that you just shared, because sometimes getting that PowerPoint out to you in advance is not always ideal given schedule. So I do thank you for that. But yeah, this is our staff. We also have our information listed on our website, and so we can move to the next slide.
Sorry.
And before, yes, so this is our information. This is how you are able to reach the consensus group. I know that you asked for verbal approval of the projects. I know that we are aware of the projects, but have not had a formal sit down with either of the developers. So we do look forward and support having those one-on-one meetings so we can learn more about the project and get additional details out to the community.
Thank you. Is there anyone here from the collaborative?
Good evening, everyone. This is Lisa Richburg. How are you?
Hi, Ms. Richburg. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Again, good evening, everyone. Next slide. So, we are the Hill District Collaborative, and we are a not for profit registered community organization who represent the historic Hill District. We were formed by concerned Hill District residents and business owners who want to ensure a clear community development review process with a high level of community engagement. And we became a City of Pittsburgh RCO March 9th, 2022. Next slide, please. Our vision is to have the Hill District redeveloped into a safe and economically thriving community that maintains its culture, its historical culture. Our mission is to inform, engage, and connect Hill District residents, landowners, business owners, not-for-profits, so that the community's interests and positions can influence decisions on real estate development, economic development, and public safety. And our purpose is to cultivate a collaborative forum that is inclusive and respects all community members. Next slide. Thank you. Our focus areas are beginning with mixed income housing development, moving to affordable home ownership and real estate investments. And this kind of in the cylinder goes in a cycle. And then there's clean and economic energy projects, and then facilitate connections between African American business owners and real estate developers. Next slide. And so our review process, as you can see, and it's kind of tight to see on the screen, but there's the general concept review, which is done with the board and staff. And then the next phase centers on defining the conceptual and the schematic form of the project, where developers generally describe the project aligned with the Hill District Master Plan principles. And then it moves on to community review. And after that, for the sake of transparency, developers are expected to share the project details, such as design and scope, funding sources, affordability, community benefits. Then it moves to resident input, where community members have an opportunity to voice support, raise concerns, or suggest modifications that address neighborhood needs of affordable housing, job creation, small businesses, everything that may come up. And then there's alignment with the community plans in the Hill District. Projects are reviewed against established neighborhood plans, such as the GHDMP, which is the Greater Hill District Master Plan, and the development principles to ensure development benefits existing residents and minimizes displacement. And then the next to the last phase is equitable development focus. And that is because of the neighborhood's history of urban renewal and displacement. Reviews emphasize equity, cultural preservation, and opportunities for Hill District residents in the areas such as employment and contracted and housing. And the last step is accountability. The review creates a public record of commitments made by developers and allow community organizations to hold projects accountable. Next slide, please. And so this is our community engagement project review. The HDC has carefully reviewed multiple housing development proposals from a variety of developers. And as a part of our mission, we will continue to actively engage and inform the community, ensuring residents are given the opportunity to share their thoughts and provide feedback and to help shape the future of housing in the Hill District. Next slide. And so this is the way that you can connect with us. We are located 1435 Bedford Avenue on the second floor. And our email is as listed, admin@hillvoices.org, as well as our website, www.hillvoices.org.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And I think you had mentioned at the beginning that you have not had an opportunity to talk with the developer, but you're looking forward to it.
Correct. We have
Okay.
not had that opportunity, but yes, we are
All
looking
right.
forward. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Uptown Partners.
Hello, everyone. This is Michaela Schreckler. I am representing Uptown Partners as usual. So Uptown Partners is a team of three folks. It's my executive director, Dr. Brittany McDonald Pierce, our community project manager, Dashni Johnson, and myself, the real estate and development program manager. Next slide, please. So Uptown Partners mission, Uptown Partners of Pittsburgh is a community-based organization of residents, institutions, and business owners working together to build a vibrant, sustainable, and just community for all. And we accomplish this through the implementation of the Uptown Eco Innovation District Plan, the city's first adopted neighborhood plan, which focuses on 4 facets of community development. Those are community, infrastructure, development, and mobility. Next slide, please. So our real estate development and design committee process, or a RED committee process. First, the developer will submit documentation, including proposed site, building and floor plans, photos of the project site, proposed exterior elevations, project budget, financial capability, and a completed Eco Innovation District development guide. They will then be scheduled for a RED committee formal presentation. From there, the RED committee will review. They have the opportunity to ask questions about the project and make comments during the presentation and afterwards via a survey response. The committee then has 10 days following the presentation to make a formal recommendation to the Uptown Partners Board. From there, the Uptown Partners Board will review that recommendation and make a formal vote in favor or not in favor of the project. Next slide, please.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. So yeah, Uptown Partners is aware of this project and it was reviewed by our RED committee on June 10th, 2025. And the project reviewed overwhelming support from our RED committee members. I just inserted a quote here from one of our survey responses from one of our members who took the survey. They said the project reflects the Uptown community's goal of historic preservation of our unique character, and revitalization of the Fourth and Fifth Corridor by creating well-designed, high-quality living spaces that balance ample current development of affordable housing. That being said, Uptown Partners is in full support of this project, and we believe it reflects the values of our community and the Eco Innovation District Plan. Next slide, please. If anyone needs to reach me, my contact information is on this slide. Go ahead and go to the next slide. And then if you would like to connect with us on social media, that is our social media. We're basically just Uptown Partners everywhere. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And next we have the Hill CDC.
sorry, couldn't get myself off of mute there. All right. All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Renee Valley. I'm an administrator here with the Hill CDC. Very happy to be with you all this evening. So I just want to share a little bit with you about the Hill CDC. We are a place-based organization focused exclusively on the historic Hill District neighborhood of Pittsburgh. We believe deeply that honoring our history and culture is essential, and that shaping a vibrant and equitable future is just as important. That's why you'll often hear us say that we are where cultural legacy meets future innovation. Hill CDC was founded in 1987, which makes us 38 years strong, and we're proud to continue serving the community today. Our work centers on the redevelopment and revitalization of the Greater Hill District, ensuring that growth reflects the values, voices, and vision of the people who call this neighborhood home. Next slide, please. We focus our work on three distinct areas: people, place, and policy. One of the ways we often describe this approach is that we build up the people while we build up the place and advocate for equitable development policy along the way. This slide highlights just a few examples of the work we do, including our home ownership initiatives, the stakeholder groups we frequently convene and administer, and several of the development projects that we're actively working on. Here you'll also see an image of New Granada, which is one of our signature developments. Next slide, please. Our mission is to work in partnership with residents and stakeholders to create, promote, and implement strategies and programs that connect plans, policies, and people to drive meaningful community development opportunities throughout the Greater Hill District. At the core of everything we do is a commitment to centering residents, working directly with them, and ensuring their voices guide our efforts. Next slide, please. In addition to our focus on people, place, and policy, our work is also carried out through three primary areas. This is how our mission overall comes to life. So first, we engage in real estate development. Much of this work is concentrated along Center Avenue, which serves as the Hill District's commercial core. We are deeply committed to supporting redevelopment along this corridor, as well as advancing affordable home ownership, which is critically important to our organization. As a result, we devote a significant amount of effort to advocacy and programming that expands access to affordable home ownership opportunities. Second, we focus on economic development. We work closely with businesses and entrepreneurs, offering targeted programming and support to help them start, grow, and thrive in their respective businesses. In addition, we support individuals on the path to home ownership through homeowner preparation programs. If you're interested in learning more about these offerings, you can follow us on social media or visit our website at hilldistrict.org, where you'll find more information about our monthly homeownership and small business programs. And third, we invest heavily in arts and culture, particularly cultural workers. We view arts and culture as powerful economic drivers and believe they are essential to achieving the inclusive economic development outcomes that we seek for the Hill District. Finally, this work is supported by our policy and planning efforts, where we consistently advocate for equitable development and thoughtful neighborhood planning. One of the key ways we advance this work is through the process that I'll be discussing this evening, which is our development review process, or DRP. Next slide, please. The Development Review Panel is our tool for resident engagement, advocacy, and partnerships, and they have been essential to our progress. So we have a number of organizations that you can see listed here who serve on the Development Review Panel. The DRP is our unified voice on community development. The Hill District Development Review Panel is a panel of residents plus individual resident scoring, which equals community input. Next slide, please. So now I'm just going to share a little bit of background on the DRP. So the DRP was formed when several community organizations came together with a shared goal, which was to ensure the Hill District had a strong unified voice and a clear, transparent process for engaging in planning and development decisions. As a result, the DRP helps to streamline community review on behalf of the Hill District community when it comes to developments and planning projects. The DRP was established more than a decade ago, and its model was designed and adopted by the Hill CDC following extensive negotiations and collaboration with community partners, stakeholders, and elected officials. What you see here is a signature page representing the many organizations that came together to help create this unified approach to community development and ensure the Hill District's voice is meaningfully represented. Next slide, please. As the process evolved and demonstrated its effectiveness, additional organizations were brought on as members to strengthen collaboration and partnership. As of today, we have 8 Hill District organizations that collectively support the DRP by appointing representatives who serve on the panel. Next slide, please. To date, the DRP has reviewed more than 60 projects, which is something we are extremely proud of. This process provides every resident with an opportunity to have a meaningful voice in the future developments of their community. The panel has also reviewed a wide range of projects, including residential, commercial, and supportive services developments. For full transparency, all of the projects reviewed by the DRP are available for public viewing on our website at hilldistrict.org/DRP. We encourage everyone to visit the site at their convenience to stay informed about what's happening in the community. Next slide, please. The DRP operates as a 2-step process. So the first step is a focused, in-depth review and scoring at the committee level, which I mentioned earlier. If a proposed plan is aligned with the Greater Hill District Master Plan and it receives a passing score, it advances to the second step, which is the community review. During the second step, the project is presented at a community meeting where every resident in attendance has the opportunity to vote. To successfully complete the DRP process, a project has to receive a cumulative score of 80% or higher. As we often say in the Hill District, C's don't get degrees, right? So you've got to earn at least an 80% to pass. What makes this process especially impactful is that it's a pro-development. So if a project does not achieve an 80% score at either stage, then the developers are encouraged to return to the committee. The DRP then will work collaboratively with them to refine their proposals so that it can ultimately meet community expectations and gain approval. This process ultimately just requires partnership and shared commitment from all involved. Once a project successfully passes both stages, the developer will receive a formal letter of support from the Hill CDC. Next slide, please. So unfortunately, there has been no contact with the developer to date, but in general, as an RCO, the Hill CDC only endorses applications that have fully completed the DRP process. And updates, as I said before, on all our projects can be found on our websites at hilldistrict.org/DRP. Next slide, please. Please stay connected with the Hill CDC by joining our email list. We publish a weekly newsletter that shares all the updates and information about the Hill District, and we share this with more than 3,400 residents and stakeholders every week. You can sign up at hilldistrict.org/sign-up. You can also follow us on social media under My Hill District on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Blue Sky. Additionally, you can also find us on LinkedIn by searching Hill Community Development Corporation. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Now we provide the developer with an opportunity to please share their presentation. And thank you very much for being patient. So I will leave it to our developers to share their presentations and begin to enlighten us on your wonderful town-owned project.
Terrific. Let me pull it up here. Let's see. Oh, 1 second here. Okay. All right, is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all for the time this evening. My name is Michael McAllister here from Epic Development, and excited to show our townhouse project that we're proposing on Seneca Street, alongside our architecture partners, Fukui Architecture. Anytime, feel free to ask questions along the way. And at the end, we'll also certainly open up for Q&A as well. But we'll jump right in. Again, my name is Michael McAllister. I am the CEO and owner of Epic Development. We're a locally based, uptown-based development firm. I also myself am a resident of Uptown. Our focus is on multifamily. We do everything from single-family units up through our flagship project at 1709 Fifth Avenue, which hopefully many of you have visited us at our Red Hot coffee shop that was opened on the ground level. Since 2017, we've invested over $19 million into Uptown, and are excited to continue to grow and call Uptown our home. And want to give our architecture partners Fukui a minute to introduce themselves as well, and a little bit more about their practice, which does include some work in the RCO districts with the Miller Street apartments.
Yes, Kento Omori with Fukui Architects. We're based out of downtown Pittsburgh, been here for 26 years, I believe. Have done projects all over the city. Probably the largest completed project would be the Miller Street Apartments in Crawford Roberts. But we've had a few other projects here and there scattered around. But we're excited to be working in Uptown with Michael, and look forward to discussing the project with you.
Thanks, Kento. So just quickly, kind of example of some projects we finished. Like I said, 1709 Fifth is our largest building to date on the core of Fifth Avenue. We also last year opened up a corner coffee shop and tap room on the corner of Forbes and Miltonberger. This was a city-owned property that we brought back from a vacant structure for over 20 years to retail space with residential above. And then the blue photo, a shot from our Forbes Avenue project just completed last summer. Just a good example of the type of projects that we work on. And then just to further kind of expand on that, I think our 1721 Locust Street project's a great example of the type of work that we look to add to the community here in Uptown. So on the left-hand side, you'll see a photo from 2016 of Locust Street. So you had a home on the right-hand side that was abandoned and 3 walls, so the back wall fully gone, and was slated for demolition. And on the right or left-hand side, you've got a 3-story apartment building that was being illegally operated with 7 units and hadn't seen any investment in years and years and years. And then fast forward to 2021, you can see the infill apartment building that we added, 8 units. In between the 2 units, 2 buildings that we were also able to preserve, renovate, and bring back, making this street just a really terrific spot. Hopefully, again, you folks have been able to walk on Locust and see kind of the work we've been able to complete. So it's this type of commitment to quality and craftsmanship and contextual design and development that we seek to bring to Seneca Street. So a little bit of just the site of what we're talking about. We're talking about Seneca Street in between 5th and Forbes. Right now, the street is doesn't have a lot of activity or a lot of things going for it. There are a number of homes on the street that are currently mothballed, some owned by the city, some owned by speculation, with just 2 active residences on the street. So we're looking to take vacant land and bring back some life to Seneca Street with these new townhouse designs. So the project in total is looking at bringing 3 townhouses to the corner of Seneca and Forbes. So you'll see them stack up the way, starting at Forbes up to Seneca. They're going to be 3 stories in their build, each with little decks in the backyard that butt up against a church project that we're working on that'll turn into a duplex of 2 units. This is a snapshot of that space. So currently green space that was always kind of cordoned off. And as you can see in the background, these are all structures that are currently unoccupied, boarded up. And so we're really hoping that this project can spur some investment and excitement into a straight street that's largely been kind of written off and hasn't seen, again, any sort of reinvestment or reinvigoration compared to some of the other pockets of uptown. So the structure itself, 3 stories that stack up the street up to from Forbes up to 5th. With an alley in between. So these are just that first run of 3. Let me turn it over to Kento to give a little bit of detailing on the front of these units and a little bit more about just the overall plan for them.
So yeah, thanks, Michael. So our intent is, to do 3-story brick, and we would bring the brick around the corner on Forbes Avenue. So high quality materials. We're staying away from, at least on this facade, big swaths of hardy or vinyl. The detailing is still a little bit of a work in progress. But you saw the quality of materials and design that Michael's executed on some of his other developments. So, we can bring a lot of creativity to the table, but we have to have a willing partner to stroke those checks. So, Michael has shown a great willingness to work with us on these. So, nice big windows and at great entrances.
Yeah, so really pretty simple construction. These aren't elaborate units. These aren't overly large units. These aren't units that are looking for any sort of variance. We have been very active in engagement and involvement with the Eco Innovation Plan, and all of our projects that we pursue in Uptown are very prescriptive by that plan. So these units are being built with sustainability in mind. These units are being built with a single car garage and really pushing the access to the new BRT bus line that'll be just directly across the street, as well as bike lanes, improved sidewalk for walkability. So these are really through and through, textbook type of development that the Eco Innovation Plan calls for. They're going to be 3 bedrooms, 3 to 4 bedrooms. There's kind of a bonus room opportunity with 3.5 baths. Little decks, little patios in the backyard. But again, these are meant to really kind of exemplify the urban form, really tight to the street with a 0-foot setback, and really filling in missing teeth to kind of just mimic the typical row house construction that you see throughout Uptown. So we're really excited about these. We think they're going to be great additions. They're a great starting playbook to bring, hopefully some folks and some ideas and some traction to additional investment in Uptown. We think that, as everyone knows, driving on Fifth and Forbes right now is a pretty unfun activity with the bumps and the construction and the fencing and the barricades. But we think it's really going to be a terrific investment in ourselves in the neighborhood once BRT is set and slated to go. And we think that the folks who would be residents of these units, these will be market rate units, that they will be super excited to be able to walk out the door, jump on a bus, jump on their bike, walk across the bridge to get to the South Side Pool, walk up the street to get to the hill. It's going to be, it's worth it. So we think that these are going to be a nice jumping off point for others to help us join in the investment in Uptown. With that, we're keeping it short and sweet. So I'd love to answer any questions you all have about the units, about plans, and anything else about the project.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Look forward to actually seeing when the townhomes start to go up. And does anyone have any? Renee has a question. AJ, can you take? Oh, Renee should have the ability to take herself off mute, correct?
Oh, yep, I'm good. Thank you. No, I just had a quick question with regard to the rents. So what would the rental prices be looking like?
These are for sale units. These are not rental units. So these are market rate rental units. And right now we're settling in on where pricing for these would be. And still working through a pricing exercises with a number of contractors. As everyone knows, the pricing of new construction has not gotten any less inexpensive as markets and things have changed from the pandemic. So we're looking at about $200 a square foot as our starting price point for the build side of things. So these will be definitely market rate units.
Okay, and what's the cost to build each per unit?
That we're still working on. So they're about 1,800 square feet per unit. So again, these aren't overly large units, and that's including the single car garage. So that's not total living space. And again, we're getting pricing we've bid it out to a number of firms. We're still kind of shopping and trying to hone in on exactly who will be building this project for us. But nothing's come even remotely close to under $200 a square foot. So that's getting these units to be just built without any additional kind of detailing and things, programmatic elements inside at under 400,000. So these are not inexpensive units to build.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
Hi, Michael. This is Brett with Consensus Group. Just to confirm, you're saying that the units are going to be market rate and priced at no less than 400,000?
Correct.
Okay. And that's 1,800 square feet, including a garage. Would that make the square footage about 1,500 or like?
Yeah, right in that range,
Okay.
like 1,550, 1,600. Yeah. So we tried to really kind of thread the needle here. We don't have a ton of space in the lot. Let me just kind of flip back there. There's not a ton of space for these things
Right.
to kind of expand. So we're really trying to kind of add, a really tight living space or a little tight conditions, but make the living spaces feel really nice and generous. And again, we want to do that with making sure that these things look the part. So really strong, solid looking brick buildings, nice big windows. This is a corner that people see, that people are on and drive often. So we want to make it so that folks get to be really excited that they call it home.
Thank you.
I do have a question. Can you tell us a little bit more about your energy features as far as energy efficiency?
Yeah, so these are going to obviously new construction. So these will have super tight envelopes. You will be looking at above code insulation throughout the unit. Same thing with super high quality windows across the board. All of our units, we make sure that in between units that the quality of the sound and then the enjoyment of the units or something, whether you're living in an apartment or you're living in a renovation unit, no one wants to hear their neighbors. So hyper efficient on that side of things as well. So yeah, these units should, they're still going to be stick build construction, so that there's not going to be anything overly, kind of aggressive on the actual build type. But we're really cognizant of simple things like we use red brick that's from Pennsylvania because that's far more sustainable to have on site and brought onto a project than building and bringing in brick types that are 100% imported. So we really try to make sure that we're cognizant of those things, both on a cost basis as well as just supporting local economies and making sure that our footprint is as small as we can.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Hi, thanks, Michael. This is, I'm Jean McNutt. I was a resident of Uptown for 17 years, and I still own property at Jamonville and Fifth. And I just would like to, commend Michael and his team. They've become very trusted developers in our community and actualize what they promise. I would say that because of the location, this particular pocket in the neighborhood has been challenged by lots of crime. It's very close to Watson Alley, where we've had shootings behind our building numerous times. So this project in particular will add a significant physical and social fabric to the community, more eyes on the street. So we commend him for that. And also thrilled that Fukui is involved in this project. We almost worked with the firm. How long ago was that? 20 years ago?
It's been a little bit. Yeah, it's been a little bit. I do remember that, but
Yeah.
we're still here. We're still banging away. So yeah.
Great. Well, I'm glad. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think that's all I have to say. This is privately funded. Is that right, Michael? By
Yes,
yourself?
this is 100% market rate, 100% privately funded. Really appreciate the kind words, Gene. Uptown's a pretty small place, and so you kind of can't run too far if you're doing things that you didn't say you were going to do. So we really make sure that we put our money where our mouth is and really kind of stay committed to the high quality design that we think Uptown's deserving of. And then just kind of to loop back a bit on Gene's question and then kind of the questions on ownership as well. We have developed a number of kind of steps along the way for kind of Uptown and our kind of trajectory of a development firm, starting with residential, a handful of for sale, but not too many. And we really think that now the time really is to kind of layer in more for sale opportunities, squeaky wheels, people who are really invested in their neighborhood and their homes are the ones who are, very much so kind of amplifying issues that maybe a renter is easily able just to move if they don't feel like it's going to match them on a long-term basis. So we think this corner really needs and has to have that kind of anchor in place to kind of overcome some of those challenges. We're also super excited that just around the corner you've got the new Beacon Communities property that's going to be opening up to 51 affordable units. So these units are being developed in tandem across Uptown. We kind of have a numbers game that we like to keep everything balanced as a part of the neighborhood plan. And so these, I think, add to that the market rate units, and then certainly excited to have neighbors just around the corner on the Beacon side, which that project is shaping up to look really nice as well.
Right. And not only that, there's Action Housing that's just, half a block away, which is Action Housing. And then across the street, Fifth Avenue is former ARCO building, Pittsburgh Housing Authority. So it's a nice mix of affordability, market rate, which is what we like to see.
Now my dog's going to be sad because I'm taking away his grass that he runs around in temporarily. So that we'll have to figure that out. That'll be the next step that we need to kind of identify, a designated dog park and place for us to play with our animals. But this is going to be, I think, a welcome trade-off.
To your point, Michael, also, I just wanted to interject really quick. We also have City's Edge that's been kind of up and coming on Caldwell Street, and that has 92 affordable units as well. So I think that what you're saying is very true. We want to make sure we're having a mixed income community, having all sorts of folks able to live in the neighborhood. So I think, like I said before, we're in full support of this project, and we are very excited to see this.
Thank you so much, Miguel. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Hi, Michael. Just a quick question. You had mentioned that you had put some proposals out or gotten some bids that brought you to that number of about $200 per square footage. How are you bidding out this project? And just interested, especially since this is a community forum, and figuring out if there is any local contractors that could help support this project, or just any contractors in general that might be interested. How are you bidding this project out?
Yeah, so we haven't actually, we're still waiting on the full bid or design package. Kento. So we don't have the full package yet. So everything is very preliminary. And so what we've done in pricing exercises to date has just been to 100% safeguard that we're not designing something that is going to be fully out of our realm of feasibility for the for sale kind of side of this project. So once we do get closer into the development or the bid package side of things, we shop it across a number of folks that we work with on a regular basis on smaller projects. This is enough of a scale and a type of a project that we'd look to new faces as well, because a lot of our work we do is on the rehab side of things. So this is a little bit more a different skill set. So we encourage all of our GC partners and subs to hire as locally as they can. So for instance, in the 23 Miltonberger project that we did, that was a partnership with or a building that was purchased from the city. In that project, I think had 60%, 58%, something to that effect, of MWB participation, all within like a 5-mile radius of the job site of firms. So it was really trying to keep as hyper local as we could for our skill sets there. And we certainly would continue. I'll share my contact information with this presentation so that everyone has email for us if there's partners or listservs that you have or folks who are interested in helping us bring this project to life. We are an open shop that is always willing to vet and look through any opportunities, because cost savings for us means that it's going to be cost savings, efficient builds, quality builds, means that we can continue to go back to the well and build more and reinvest. And so any opportunities that can be presented, we're all ears.
That's exciting to hear. Thank you. Thank you. And good luck with
Absolutely.
this project.
Thank you.
I just have another quick question. This is Renee. Do you guys plan to have any type of public subsidies?
No, there's no subsidies in this project. This is 100% privately funded. Yeah, so there's everything through the sewer taps, through the last brick that gets put up is all just a pretty traditional construction loan, and kind of a mix of private equity dollars. Not private equity, but equity.
I have a question.
Got it. Thank you.
Marimba has a question. Oh, I'm sorry, Marimba, go ahead.
Thank you. I missed the ownership. Was this a privately held site before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. This was bought from the Steiner family. So they owned Fifth Avenue School Lofts, and I think at one point when they were looking to kind of also do like a very micro version of the school lofts on this site with the old church and rectory, and then I don't think that number ever penciled out for them. So this was a parcel that was pulled together with both the church and the rectory site that are on, and then this green space.
Okay, and this is all steps, no elevator in this building?
These are all steps, yeah. And so they do kind of grade up a little bit. So we're the challenge that we are challenging ourselves for is creating kind of little pockets of greenery along the stair and the garage bays to kind of soften the facade a bit. Seneca's a pretty doesn't have any trees currently that are down the sidewalk. So there is going to be some great bump outs in the corner at Forbes and Seneca with the new BRT project. So we're challenging ourselves on there, but the footprint and space of these really efficient. So if I could put a spiral staircase into the third floor, I would, but I don't think my Fukui team would green light that.
Okay. And then I just want to be sure I'm clear on all 3 units are home ownership?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, great. So you have like a condo structure.
We're kind of oscillating back and forth. So either these are going to sit in a condo structure, or they'll be subdivided out into individual lots and sold individually, and kind of creating that individual lot lines. But as they stand today, they will be a condo structure with kind of like the shared roof and some back kind of shared green space.
Okay. And then I have one more question. Oh, this is more of a comment, less of a question. And I don't think it relates specifically to the technical components of your project, but I do want to point out that in the research that we've done relative to Uptown, the percentages of affordable units in comparison to the market units are lagging based on the Eco Innovation District's metrics. So I want to point that out because, we all, are aspiring to have both an affordable and mixed income neighborhood in the Hill District, including Uptown. But I do think it is important for us to be tracking really effectively and closely what the goals of the Eco Innovation District call for. And as of right now, the affordable units are being outpaced. So I just want to make sure that we are all thinking about that consistently. And as we, look at these kinds of, innovative home ownership products, and they do oftentimes, well, one, I'm glad to see some home ownership. Let me say that. I think that's really important. But I don't want us to turn our head away from the goals and metrics of the Eco Innovation District, and just kind of forget that we're already being outpaced in the Uptown part of the neighborhood. So thank you.
Any other question? I think there was one other question that someone was jumping on as well.
Carol, are you there? And then after this question, if you have any other questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to Michael and Kento to ask, any follow-up questions. And then Michael and Kento, I will provide you with all of the contact information for the RCOs following this meeting. Carol?
Terrific. I'm going to go ahead and just put my email and contact information in the chat as well. So anyone who wants to reach out.
Thank you. Carol, did you have a question? I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I basically have a comment, and I'm just thinking of why or how this would work with home ownership. Because even though what Marimba is saying, the housing is outpacing the affordable housing or units, but I think if there was a pathway to ensure equitable access to finance so that people who want to get into ownership can have that opportunity and that assistance with, the pathway through the finance challenges.
So I have some experience. I was a part of the team that formed the City of Bridges Community Land Trust, as well as quite a bit of experience with, tax credit projects. That starts to go down a path that's like completely outside of what we're trying to propose at the time, and it can get pretty complicated. It's a worthy goal, and I encourage anybody here to really keep pushing towards that. But, these are 3 townhouses that we're trying to develop, completely with private funds. And, it's just completely outside of the scope that we can pull off here.
You're saying
Right.
townhomes, but these are flats, or no? I just want to be sure I'm not missing something on the typology and/or just that I didn't miss a component of the presentation. Are these like stacked flats?
No, they're
These are-
townhouses.
Yeah, these are 3 units, so you can kind of see like the split here and split here. Let me just show you. So there's 3 individual,
okay.
all equal sized units. Yeah, three stories each.
I'm sorry, I'm not seeing, I see one building and I see 3 levels to the building on the slides. Maybe I missed something.
On this
Or-
one?
Yes, or are you saying that there are separate?
So this is a
entrances?
this is a unit. This is a unit. You kind of can see it like repeat 3 times. So each time you have a garage, that's like the end of the unit, and then the next one starts. So you've got kind of 3 stacking as they go up.
We're seeing the 1721 Locust Street case study. That's what's on the presentation. That's what we've been on for the past 20 minutes.
Oh, well, that's not great.
I've been seeing you flip through the pages, Michael.
Yeah,
I've been
Mo-
seeing the different slides as well.
it might
Oh,
be a technical error on your end.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Okay,
remember,
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's not moving on my end. If you could just send me the.
yeah, remember I can just send it straight to you, so you
Yeah.
can have it and just review. Yep.
And
Sorry
that's
about
great,
that.
but also the DRP is our formal process. I just want to reiterate that. But no, I'm not seeing the other slides, but thank you for that. Kara, I apologize if you had a follow-up.
Oh, no. I was just, sometimes I give private developers money, but sometimes it would be nice if some kind of pathway due to the history and different things, that has happened. Sometimes that's just, a thought and something nice to do. I get private people might want to do what they want to do with their money. That's their business, of course. And I'm not advocating for charity, but you know what I mean? Home ownership is good, but there's a lot of folks that not necessarily aren't prepared or prepared for home ownership, right? And I get with what's your name? Keita?
Kento, yes.
Kenta. Yeah, I get what you were saying, but I just thought I'd ask.
We're working on lots of different kinds of projects, including other modes. So, there will always be opportunities.
Oh, that's great.
Thanks, Carol. Thanks, Kento. Looks like we might be having future meetings together, it sounds like. In the interest of time, and thank you very much for my colleagues from City Planning being so patient. We now have Isabella Gross, who is a principal planner from the Division of Sustainability and Resilience. She is going to talk about greenways planning in the Hill District. Isabella, the floors are all yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Benita. And I do want to be mindful of everyone's time before I start. How long do these meetings typically last, and how much time do I have so I can just, advance the slides as best as I
Technically,
can?
our meeting was over 19 minutes ago.
Okay,
But because
so
of the technical problems and us getting a late start, you know, you use your judgment to do your presentation. So you have the floor.
all right. Well, I'm not going to keep you all here for too long, but it would be awesome to kind of speak to you all a little bit about the Greenways work that myself and my colleague Mackenzie have been doing. I'll briefly introduce myself. My name is Isabella Gross. I am a principal planner with the Department of City Planning. My work focuses mostly on parks, trails, and open space citywide. I'll let Mackenzie introduce herself too.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mackenzie Pleskovic. I was here a little bit ago regarding the vacant structure stabilization pilot program. My focus in city planning is on vacant property and open space.
Awesome. So we often ask folks, and in the interest of time, I'm just going to kind of move on. But if you have a guess in mind of how many city-owned vacant lots currently exist in the city of Pittsburgh, it's 10,000, which comes to surprise to some, but also folks are not typically always surprised when they hear that number. The origin of this project, kind of around the greenways work, has been these 10,000 vacant lots that are city owned that haven't necessarily been studied comprehensively since the 1970s. We kind of studied these parcels with greenways as kind of an end use in mind. We weren't necessarily thinking of all of the end uses. We were focusing mostly on, using greenways as a tool to kind of conserve green space throughout the city. The biggest kind of factor that we were looking for on these vacant lots was landslide risk. As you all know, we have a lot of very steeply sloped land in Pittsburgh, a lot of land that is prone to landslides. And we primarily chose of kind of the 3,000 city-owned parcels that we selected for this study that we're proposing as greenway are landslide prone and steeply sloped. And so this was kind of a collaboration with Trust for Public Land, a national nonprofit, and a lot of work has gone into this with the Department of Public Works as well. In case y'all are unfamiliar with greenways in the Pittsburgh context, a greenway is a permanently conserved, primarily passive open space that is stewarded primarily by the community, focusing on benefits of minimizing landslides, reducing the effects of extreme heat, preserving tree canopy, and creating recreation opportunities. Currently have 12 greenways. Y'all might be familiar with the Hazelwood Greenway or the seldom seen Greenway in Beachview. A lot of those kind of have trails in them and things like that, but are also kind of primarily tree canopy, passive open space. So a couple of benefits that kind of were top of our list for why we were doing this work is, minimizing flooding and landslide hazard risk, preserving our existing tree canopy that's kind of in alignment with our city's climate action goals as well. And then this third point of unlocking investments in these green spaces is really important for this project because right now these spaces exist as vacant lots throughout the city. And, legislating them, designating them officially as greenway allows us to kind of apply for new funding that we're not able to apply for, right now with them as vacant lots. For example, there's a lot of funding through the Department of Conservation Natural Resources, the DCNR, it's a state department, and they fund a lot of green projects throughout the city of Pittsburgh. And that's kind of a funding stream that is unlocked by kind of designating these vacant lots as greenway. We want to allow for community nonprofit stewardship in these green spaces and have kind of created a stewardship program around the greenways, as well as support greater mobility and also, provide signage in these spaces that oftentimes kind of can seem as like neglected green spaces or spaces that are kind of are seeing a lot of dumping issues throughout the city. So we use the environmental map for a lot of this analysis. It's a publicly accessible map. It's super helpful if anyone ever needs it. And so for the Hill District, you kind of see that there's a lot of landslide prone kind of surrounding the Hill District with flatter land in the middle. The kind of brown color is landslide area. The yellow color is steeply sloped, like steep slopes. And then the green indicates tree canopy coverage. And so there are only kind of two main areas in the Hill District that we are proposing added greenway land. Some up here kind of by the existing Bigelow Greenway that separates Polish Hill from the Upper Hill and Bedford Dwellings. And then some down here kind of by Kennard Park and MLK Field. So this is just a screenshot of our proposed open space map. The lighter green is kind of proposed greenway area. As you can see here, the gray indicates an existing legislated greenway, and that's the Bigelow Greenway. And so we're adding kind of, we're proposing to add a couple of parcels into this greenway that are all landslide prone, as well as kind of parcels surrounding or at the kind of bottom of Kennard Playground that kind of goes into Crawford Roberts, and some that goes into West Oakland as well. We did review the green print that was done with Walter Hood and his team. I went to the same grad school as Walter Hood, and he's definitely an icon of mine. And I was introduced to his work then, and definitely still am a big fan of his work. So I think it's cool that he came to Pittsburgh and did this work. So as you can see, I just want to kind of highlight the alignments between kind of the area that we're proposing and the green print. And so this is MLK Field, Kennard Park, kind of that area. These woods are kind of the greenway that we're referring to, in which that are kind of outlined in this plan as well, as you can see down here, these woods, and then up here kind of by Heron Hill Park, as this is kind of an area that is outlined as a woods area in the plan, woodlands area. To zoom in a little bit more, kind of these parcels here also kind of align with the green space that is indicated in and around MLK Field down here a little bit. And then up here with Heron Hill Park, you know, the woods are still kind of outlined through here as a part of kind of the proposed park and green space around the park. In reading the green print a little bit too, there's just kind of this whole emphasis on like the Hill District being unique in its kind of like relationship between the woods and the city, or the village is what it's called in the plan. But, you know, the built environment and the natural environment kind of coexisting in the Hill District was written in this plan as kind of a unique factor that kind of should continue and should prosper throughout. So I think that this greenways work, kind of adding to the greenway, conserving our steep slopes as greenway, is pretty much in alignment with the green print. Other ways that those areas can be reactivated, you know, we want to allow for community nonprofit stewardship. Perry South and the north side is a good example. They kind of had a small greenways area that they were able to kind of come together around and, you know, do kind of a short walking path, plant some native species, do some plantings, you know, with various volunteer groups, as well as their kind of community organization. You know, we want to allow for stuff like urban agriculture, beautification, kind of litter cleanups, etc. And we have a lot of really awesome environmental nonprofits that are also, you know, willing and able to kind of steward these lands as well. If you all have issues with dumping in any of the areas that we have outlined, we'd love to hear about that and kind of note that in our notes so that we can, you know, think about if it's helpful to put signage in those areas in the future if these areas do move forward with becoming greenway. We'd love your naming suggestions. I mean, the Bigelow Greenway up north by Heron Hill Park already has the name, but the one kind of by Kennard Park, you know, if there's a name that comes to kind of the folks living in and around that greenway, or if there's like a historic name that has a lot of value to the community, you know, we're open to naming suggestions for these green spaces as well. Urban agriculture is a big kind of you know, opportunity here as well, because, you know, we like to point to Riverview Park. It is a park, not a greenway, but it is similar to a lot of our greenway land because it is on a lot of landslide prone land. And, you know, even in Riverview Park, we've had a group start a little garden called Zenshine Garden, and they've been operating successfully, you know, found a flat, sunny spot in the park, and we're able to kind of utilize that space. And so that's kind of what we're thinking for the greenways. To wrap up, we've done all this mapping analysis for a while. We've kind of built some stewardship and volunteer kind of programming around the greenway. We're in kind of this community engagement phase. We saved the best for last, obviously. No, we still have a long way to go, and kind of us meeting you now is not an indication of kind of a priority or anything, but we are here now and wanting kind of your feedback around these proposed greenway spaces, around kind of issues that you have seen in the areas around, issues with dumping, and then also around kind of what you all think can be opportunities for these areas. If there is community interest in kind of invasive species management or beautification, plantings, etc. We have an Engage page as well. I can put the link in the chat for that. And yeah, it's also accessible via this QR code, and you can feel free to reach out to us whenever you'd like, kind of, with the date in mind, that with the end of February in mind for kind of when we're hoping to wrap up engagement. But yeah, any questions?
Isabella, thank you very much. You and Mackenzie both. I know that you had mentioned the community engagement piece. As a follow-up, and in the interest of time, would you be both available to meet with the RCOs virtually, or I guess in person, depending on which is convenient for everyone, to discuss some of the items that you need some feedback on?
Yeah, certainly. If there's a better time that works for folks, and we can give you all the presentation and maybe the map, and we can kind of come to meet again to kind of talk through the specifics, that works as well. Is that what you're suggesting, Benita?
Mm-hmm. How does everybody feel about that suggestion?
Hello, am I on mute?
Yes.
You can hear me. This is Jean McNutt again. I think that's a great idea. I mean, it would be great if, as I said, I was a resident of Uptown for 17 years. I now live on an island in Maine, but I would suggest that you present at a community meeting in Uptown. If you can, if they're, if Uptown Partners is able to do that within the time frame that you have to come up with suggestions. I have a question. How many folks are actually on this call that are not presenters, that are, citizens of the Hill?
I think we had about 17 people,
Total?
give or take, that weren't presenters.
Okay, well, that's good. It's hard to know how many folks are being reached. At least I can't do that on the phone that I'm using now. So I guess my point is that hopefully you have a bigger outreach by going to the community.
Yeah, I think, thanks for your comment. I think we're interested in engaging folks, residents, kind of in and around the two areas that we're kind of proposing as Greenway. So more kind of in the Crawford Roberts area, and then also in the Upper Hill. I know the Hill, that's why kind of coming here as a starting point, disseminating the information to you all and kind of seeking input, and then going from there was the best way forward. And if there are kind of, I know the Hill is kind of not geographically based necessarily with the organizations. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I'm looking to you all for feedback on kind of what are our best next steps to kind of engage folks, as well as inform you all on the proposed green space.
So I'm sorry, I kind of missed a little piece of your presentation, but the green space that is along Fifth Avenue, that seems like it's not part of this project, is that right? The green between, as you're coming, before you get to Kirkpatrick, the bridge on the right, as you're going west towards town, on the south side, on the north side of Fifth Avenue.
So, and this kind of zoom close up, you can see, yeah, all the green spaces kind of coming off of MLK Field and going into kind of Crawford Roberts via like Colwell Street and Wick Street. So it's all
Yeah.
north of Fifth Avenue, which is kind of across the border from Uptown, but you know, might be green space that Uptown folks would use or currently use. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Mackenzie and Isabella. I will provide you with all of the contact information for RCOs for the Hill. And as a follow-up, if you know everybody would like to actually have a separate meeting, again, or individual meetings at all, it's your preference. Just let me know if you want to have a joint virtual meeting to discuss the Green Pathways program more. I'll be happy to coordinate that. Just let me know.
Thank you.
Well, with that, does anyone else have any comments or questions? Well, I thank you all for your patience and your ability to pivot. As AJ said, we were having a bit of a snafu with double booking on the Zoom call, and so I thank you all for making the course correction and joining the meeting this evening. Thank you all. I look forward to speaking with you in February. And as always, if you need us, just feel free to reach out. This concludes our DAM meeting, and I look forward to seeing you all in February.
Thank
AJ,
you.
if you'd like to, you can end the recording now.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.